Some people don't go quiet because they have nothing to say. They go quiet because saying things once cost them too much. From the outside, this silence looks like withdrawal, distance, or indifference. But underneath, something very different is happening. Meet Mary. In her normal life, she is articulate. She is brilliant. She can solve complex problems and debate her way out of anything. Words are her superpower. But hurt her deeply enough, and a glitch happens in her system. She doesn't yell. She doesn't cry. She physically shuts down. Her eyes go blank. Her voice vanishes. You might look at her and think, "Oh, she's calm. She's over it." You are wrong. She isn't calm. She is drowning. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why her brain just pulled the emergency brake and reveal the 5 psychological reasons why some people go quiet when they're hurt. This isn't about being dramatic. This is about how certain nervous systems process emotional pain. In a world that rewards loud emotions, choosing silence isn't strength. It's survival. Let's start with the first reason. Reason number 1. Your brain shuts down to protect you. Here's what most people get wrong about people like Mary. They think silence means she's fine, that she's over it, that it didn't hurt that much. The opposite is true. When Mary gets hurt, her brain doesn't activate the fight response. It activates the freeze response. Let me show you what's happening inside her nervous system. Most people respond to emotional pain with fight or flight. They argue, they cry, they defend, they leave. But Mary's nervous system does something different. When someone hurts her, her amygdala, the brain's threat detector, registers emotional danger. Instead of pushing her to attack or escape, it shuts things down. Psychologist Dr. Stephen Porges calls this the dorsal vagal response. It's the nervous system's oldest survival mechanism. When a threat is too overwhelming to fight or flee from, the body freezes. Speech stops. Movement slows. Energy conserves. So when Mary goes quiet, her brain isn't choosing calmness. It's choosing survival. She's not handling it. She's protecting herself from emotional collapse. And the silence? That's her nervous system protecting her from breaking down completely. If you are new to Mind Decode, welcome. We break down the psychology behind who you are. Hit subscribe, and let's decode why you go quiet and why that's not weakness. Reason number 2. Words feel dangerous when you're hurting. Mary's second challenge. She doesn't trust her words when she's in pain. Most people don't understand this. They think, if you're hurt, just say so. Just tell me. But Mary has learned something through experience. When you speak from pain, you say things you can't take back. Let me show you what happened the last time Mary tried to speak while hurt. 3 years ago, her best friend said something cruel, something that cut deep. Mary's first instinct was to respond immediately, to defend herself, to say exactly how much it hurt. But she knew what would happen. Her voice would shake. Her words would come out too intense, too raw, too revealing. She'd expose just how much power that person had over her emotions. Worse, she might say something cruel back, something designed to hurt equally. So she went quiet instead. Psychologist Dr. John Gottman found that during emotional flooding, when your heart rate exceeds 100 beats per minute during conflict, your ability to think rationally drops to nearly 0. You stop listening. You stop processing. You only react. And reactions from pain rarely lead to resolution. They lead to escalation. Mary understands this instinctively. She knows that speaking from a place of deep hurt doesn't create clarity. It creates more damage. So she chooses silence, not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much to let pain control her words. She'd rather withdraw than say something that destroys the relationship permanently. Reason number 3. You've learned that expressing pain changes nothing. Here's something Mary learned early in life. Showing pain doesn't fix the problem. It just makes you vulnerable. Most people go quiet because they've been hurt before, and when they showed that pain, one of 2 things happened. Either they were dismissed, "You're too sensitive, it wasn't that serious," or they were weaponized. The person who hurt them used that vulnerability against them later. Mary remembers the pattern clearly. Age 12. She told her mother that something a classmate said hurt her feelings. Her mother responded, "Don't be so dramatic. You need thicker skin." Age 17. She told a friend that being excluded from plans made her feel unwanted. The friend later joked about it publicly, making Mary the sensitive one. Age 24. She told her partner that a comment felt disrespectful. He rolled his eyes and said, "Here we go again. You're always upset about something." Each time Mary spoke her pain, it backfired. So her brain learned, silence is safer than honesty. Psychologist Dr. Brené Brown calls this armor. When vulnerability gets punished repeatedly, people build protective walls. For Mary, that wall is silence. She doesn't go quiet because she's cold. She goes quiet because experience taught her that expressing hurt leads to more hurt. So she withdraws. She processes alone. She protects herself the only way that's ever worked. Reason number 4. Silence is a test. Most people don't realize this, but when Mary goes quiet, she's testing something. She's testing whether you'll notice, whether you'll care enough to ask, whether you'll pursue her when she pulls away. This isn't manipulation, it's assessment. And most of the time, this assessment isn't conscious. It's a nervous system checking for emotional safety, not a strategy to control you. Mary doesn't need you to read her mind. She needs you to read the room. If someone suddenly goes from warm to silent, from engaged to withdrawn, from present to distant, that shift is communication. It's saying, something is wrong, and I need to know if you care enough to notice. Here's what Mary is watching for when she goes quiet. Do you notice the change? Or do you continue as if nothing happened? Do you ask if she's okay? Or do you ignore the silence because it's easier? Do you give her space but check in later? Or do you forget entirely? Each response tells her something critical. Does this person value me enough to notice when I'm hurt? Psychologist Dr. Sue Johnson, who developed emotionally focused therapy, explains this as an attachment bid. When someone pulls away after being hurt, they're testing. Are you a safe person? Will you come after me when I withdraw? Or will you let me disappear? Mary goes quiet because she needs to know. If I don't perform okayness, will you still care? And your response tells her everything. Reason number 5. Processing pain alone feels safer. Here's the final truth about why Mary goes quiet. When she's hurt, she needs to process internally before she can engage externally. Most people process pain out loud. They talk it through. They vent. They analyze with others. Mary doesn't work that way. Her brain needs silence to untangle what she's feeling. She needs space to separate the hurt from the reaction. She needs time to decide, is this worth addressing? Or should I let it go? When someone pressures her to just talk about it immediately, it overwhelms her more. She hasn't sorted her thoughts yet. She hasn't identified which emotions are valid and which are just her nervous system overreacting. Psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron's research on highly sensitive people shows that 20% of the population processes information more deeply. They don't react quickly. They absorb, reflect, analyze, then respond. For Mary, going quiet isn't avoidance. It's her processing system doing what it does, going deep before going external. She needs to sit with the pain, understand it, decide what it means. Then, and only then, can she articulate it clearly. Forcing her to speak before she's ready doesn't get you honesty. It gets you half-formed thoughts and emotional reactivity. So she withdraws, not to punish you, but to protect the integrity of what she'll eventually say. The dark side. Warning, silence as punishment. Now we need to distinguish something critical. Going quiet to process is healthy. Going quiet to punish is not. If you're withdrawing to make someone suffer, that's stonewalling. That's emotional manipulation. Psychologist Dr. John Gottman identified stonewalling as one of the 4 horsemen that predict relationship failure. It's when you shut down not to protect yourself, but to hurt the other person through your absence. Here's the difference. Healthy silence. I'm hurt and need time to process. I'll come back when I'm ready to talk. Toxic silence. I'm hurt, and I want you to feel my absence. I won't tell you what's wrong, but I'll make sure you feel punished. Mary goes quiet to survive overwhelm. She doesn't weaponize her silence. If you're using silence as a weapon, that's not self-protection. That's cruelty. Know the difference. Conclusion. Silence speaks volumes. So here's the truth most people never learn. When someone goes quiet after being hurt, they're not fine. They're not over it. They're not unaffected. Their nervous system has shifted into freeze, protecting them from emotional overload. Their words feel too dangerous to trust in that moment. They've learned, often through experience, that expressing pain can make things worse, and they need silence to process before they can speak honestly. Mary doesn't go quiet because she's cold. She goes quiet because she feels deeply and has learned that silence is the safest container for that intensity. If this video helped you understand yourself or someone you love, hit like and subscribe to Mind Decode. And here's your challenge. If you know someone who goes quiet when they're hurt, don't demand words. Just let them know you're there. Until next time, keep decoding your mind. Not everyone heals out loud. Some people heal in silence, and both are valid.